Hey Screen Junkies, me and the writers are on spring break this week. Woo! While we're off busting and feeling good, enjoy every Ghostbusters Honest Trailer ever before we roast Frozen Empire. With a franchise-ruining sequel/reboot on the horizon, it's time to celebrate the 30th anniversary of the film you loved as a child of the 80s, or the cartoon you loved as a child of the 90s, or the theme song you sort of recognize as a child of today. Well, who you gonna call? Ghostbusters. Before Harold Ramis passed away, Bill Murray became a professional party crasher, and Dan Aykroyd went batshit crazy.
I don't think we will ever have a formal relationship, a formal contact with any alien species out there, especially after 9/11.
They were the Ghostbusters, old-looking, out-of-touch, out-of-shape nerds.
But when we get to 20, tell me. I'm gonna throw up.
Yep, this is what movie stars look like in '84, kids. When there's something strange in your neighborhood, there's only one group of unlicensed, heavily armed, disgraced college professors you can call. The Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters, what do you want?
There's Spangler, a nerd.
I collect spores, molds, and fungus.
Ray, a nerd.
If the ionization rate is constant for all ectoplasmic entities, we could really bust some heads. In a spiritual sense, of course.
Venkman, a borderline sexual predator.
Hey, will you stay here in bed until I get back?
And Winston, who was supposed to be played by Eddie Murphy, but got more or less written out of the movie when he passed on the role. And eventually cropped out on home video too. When ghosts rise from the dead to haunt New York, the Ghostbusters are the only thing between the city and total chaos, causing the media to run glowing profiles of their successful business instead of the fact that ghosts exist and are haunting New York. But it's nothing the Ghostbusters can't handle. They've got the car, the gadgets, and the vaguely scientific know-how to put evil in its place.
10 people witnessed a free-floating, full-torso vaporous apparition. Ectoplasmic residue. Complete particle reversal. Total protonic reversal. Focused, non-terminal repeating phantasm. Fourfold cross-rip. You have been a participant in the biggest interdimensional cross-rip since the Tunguska blast of 1909. Felt great.
I'm pretty sure he made half of that stuff up. Slide down the fire pole and into a PG-rated movie that kids loved, even though it's full of cursing.
Oh, I have seen that'll turn you white. What an asshole. This man has no dick.
Casual smoking. Boob grabbing. And ghost head. Whoa, kids' movies were way better back in the day. So grab your stick.
Got your stick?
Heat 'em up.
Heat 'em up!
Make 'em hard.
Make 'em hard!
And don't cross the streams.
Cross the streams.
As the Ghostbusters take down the best knobs the 80s had to offer.
You are a pool scientist, Dr. Venkman. Exactly what are you a doctor of, Mr. Venkman?
$5,000? I have no idea to be so much I won't pay it.
And imprison hundreds of innocent creatures who don't do much besides read, eat, drive, and I
feel so funky.
I feel like the floor of a taxi cab.
Let's say, ooze? Starring Bill You Murray Me, funny Dan Aykroyd, Egon but not forgotten, sick horny Weaver, 80s Dick, young old Larry King, Flubber, Dark Helmet, David Bowie, not Eddie Murphy, Fat Casper, the dad from Family Matters, and Ron Jeremy. Whoa, no way! Ghostbusters. Kids, this was called a library. It's like a printout of Wikipedia where you have to be quiet. Before you see the reboot that the internet thinks will be an unfunny attempt to cash in on your nostalgia for the original Ghostbusters, revisit the unfunny attempt at a sequel that kinda already took care of that. Ghostbusters II. It's been 5 years since the Ghostbusters saved New York from a ghost-pocalypse. Now everyone thinks they're frauds for some reason.
My dad says you guys are full of crap.
Did your dad not live in New York 5 years ago?
Two-bit frauds and publicity hounds like you and your friends.
Seriously, did everybody just forget that the city was invaded by actual ghosts?
I want to hear a lot of malarkey about goblins, spooks, and demons.
Malarkey? What about the 100-foot-tall marshmallow man that destroyed part of the city? Remember? Gozer, Zool, huge earthquakes that swallowed a city block, dogs and cats living together.
We got dogs!
You know what? Fine. I hope Emin likes ectoplasm and terror dogs.
Ungrateful little yuppie larva.
If you loved the first Ghostbusters movie, then you should definitely go watch that one instead. But if you insist on seeing part 2, prepare for the exact same plot with tiny cosmetic changes, as the Ghostbusters start out as washed-up scientists who no one believes.
They think you're a fraud.
I am a fraud.
Get successful after busting ghosts for a huge jerk, then have a ghost-busting montage, while Venkman romances their client Dana, who's being terrorized by a household appliance, as the team is harassed by a snobby government official, who gets them arrested, until they're unarrested by the mayor after a ghost hole opens in the sky.
Get me the Ghostbusters.
Resulting in a third-act finale where a huge mascot stomps through New York, prompting the Busters to shoot their guns into a portal thingy and save the day while all of New York celebrates. It's exactly the same as the first movie, but bad. Catch up with all of your favorite characters who haven't changed at all, like Egon, who's still a nerd.
We had part of a slinky, but I straightened it.
Venkman, who's still a creep.
Hello, Dana.
Ray, who still spouts out nonsense.
As a psychomagnetheric slime flow of immense proportions is building up beneath the city.
Winston, who's still there sometimes. Dana, who's still Sigourney Weaver, but this time more naked. Janine, who's a horny cartoon character now. And introducing Viga the Carpathian, an evil painting who really should have stuck to writing metal lyrics.
On a mountain of skulls in the castle of pain, I sat on a throne of blood.
Hell yeah! That painting is awesome, right? This movie sucks. But you know what? Still kinda nice to see these guys on screen together. I mean, every generation has its hangover too. So before you go and see the movie that people have decided will ruin the franchise before they've even seen it, revisit the movie that already ruined the franchise by throwing out the fun grown-up comedy and doubling down on lame kid stuff. Unless you think the franchise was already ruined by that terrible video game, or that other terrible video game, or Extreme Ghostbusters, or this embarrassing cameo in the Casper movie.
Who are you gonna call? Someone else.
Or the fact that Bill Murray never wants to do another Ghostbusters. Or that Rick Moranis gave up acting. Or that Harold Ramis passed away. Or Dan Aykroyd losing his mind.
I don't think we will ever have a formal relationship, a formal contact with any alien species out there, especially after 9/11.
But hey, Ernie Hudson's available for whatever you got. Sequels, reboots, children's birthday parties, Ghostbusters 3. Ernie's gotta eat. Starring Elwood Booze, Harold Ramis, Ringo, a very Murray sequel, Ripley and Newt, Honey, I Busted the Ghost, the only guy having fun in this movie, the photo booth pinch filter, Claudio Miranda, the stuff they make chicken McNuggets out of, and the comment section of the new Ghostbusters trailer.
You worthless piece of slime! You ignorant, disgusting clod! You foul, obnoxious moth!
This is what you do with your spare time.
Ghostbusters II. The Secret of the Ooze. You know, the original Ghostbusters movie probably ruined something too. The original Ghostbusters.
We're Ghostbusters. We're clever, courageous, and strong.
Yep, that was a thing.
The Ghostbusters do it again.
Are we sure we want to do this one? Fine, we'll do it, but we're turning off the comments. You did this to yourself, Internet. Trigger warning. The following video contains scenes from the 2016 film Ghostbusters. From the studio that just got hacked by North Korea, lost creative control of Spider-Man, might lose James Bond, and couldn't even keep Adam Sandler happy, comes the surefire hit to put them back on track. Oh no. Experience a film that created a perfect storm of hatred, uniting people who legitimately hated the trailers, people who legitimately hate reboots of classic films, and people who legitimately like to yell hateful nonsense on the internet.
And now they're making Ghostbusters with only women. What's going on?
Wait, we're making a Ghostbusters video and calling out Trump? I am so getting doxxed. Get ready for the film that everyone in their blog rushed to judge before they'd even seen it, and prove to all the haters that it's bad. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I mean, it's not as bad as they said it was gonna be, but still, it's pretty bad.
I lost my glasses! Oh, wait, I got them! They're in my hand!
Look out, boys, there's a brand new cast in town, and it's true, these Ghostbusters have no dick or chemistry.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Oh, did you want to?
Sorry, I'll let you.
Next time.
As everyone in the ensemble plays the comic relief at the same time, featuring the awkward comic relief.
Yes, Princeton. More like Prince. Tons of dummies go there.
The random comic relief.
I can think of 7 good uses of a cadaver today.
The down-to-earth comic relief.
I'm sorry, my uncle owns a funeral home, not an Enterprise rent-a-car.
And the physical comic relief. Look, you can't all be the Venkman. Someone's gotta be the Egon. Together, they'll unite against a villain so forgettable, they'll ditch him halfway through for Chris Hemsworth and the third act of Pixels.
We're trapped!
Suit up for a film that's desperate to prove it's not like the original.
Ghostbusters, that is not our name.
But also desperate to remind you of the original at every opportunity, with the exact same plot as the first Ghostbusters.
We gotta cross the streams.
But the old cast is there too, but they're playing new characters stuck in humiliating cameos.
Look, I don't go to Chinatown, I don't drive wackos, and I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
But it's still set in the same universe as the original?
What's so?
Why isn't this a sequel, or just a straight reboot, or just don't call it Ghostbusters and make an original movie about shooting ghosts with laser beams? Oh no, I've become one of them. Experience a feature-length reminder that comedy is subjective, your enjoyment of which depends on how much you like Paul Feig's B material. And not 1, not 2, but 3 jokes about soup.
I got 1 wonton. That looks like dishwater and one shrimp. I'm just looking for a reasonable ratio of wontons to broth.
Or spring for the extended cut that adds 15 minutes of new footage featuring not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 different dance numbers.
Ghosts! They're real!
Really? Extended edition? You really want to push your luck on this? Man, you did not make it easy to like you, Ghostbusters. So catch this fine but forgettable comedy some people treated like the coming of the apocalypse, that after a summer full of duds like the Jason Bourne rehash, the Independence Day sequel, and a Tarzan reboot, proves once and for all that girls can make middle-of-the-road studio-mandated franchise bait just as well as the boys. Hooray! Starring Kristen Wiig, Melissa McBarfy, two-step verification, you guys, Kate McCosplay, Chris Hunksworth, and I know a lot of us are divided over this film, but let's take a moment to agree on one thing that actually deserves all that hate: the Fall Out Boy cover song.
If there's something weird and it don't look good, who can you call?
No! Ghostbusters. Now let's never speak of this again. If something's lame and it ain't that good, what you gonna do? Don't watch it! And don't waste your time trolling the cast just because they agreed to be in a bad movie. You hate it? Well, fine then! Go support something original, why don't you? Man, how did a Ghostbusters movie become the most political thing in America during an election year? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills! From the studio hanging on by a spider thread, and the guy who made the 1984 classic, Skid, comes a film that invites you to remember how great the original was. And that's it. That's the whole movie. Ghostbusters Afterlife. You loved the Ghostbusters when they looked like chain-smoking janitors, thrilled when they became Saturday morning cartoons, and reacted in a totally calm, proportionate manner when they were recast as women.
They're making Ghostbusters with only women. What's going on?
Now, instead of making the kind of movie where bustin' made you feel good, Sony will give you a 2-hour-long BJ to your nostalgia for the original. That's so desperate to wash up the stank of their last attempt. By the end, they drop Afterlife from the title, as if to say, you want Ghostbusters? Here, we make Ghostbusters again. Happy now? Travel to Somerville, Oklahoma, a location that honors the original's roots by being secretly Canadian. It's one of those small towns that becomes a big town whenever there's a car chase. And it was home to the late scientist Egon. See, right when your favorite character started the Ghostbusters, he also abandoned his family. Sorry, that's canon now. Embark on a new journey with a next generation of Spangler when they move into his old trap house.
This isn't a farm. It's a trap.
Like his daughter Callie, who hates her dad so much, it extends to the abstract concept of science.
I just have an allergy to science. What are you up to?
The experiments.
Ugh, lame.
Trevor, a dirtbag who spends the summer trying to reverse jailbait a townie.
You're 15.
I'll be 16 in February.
And McKenna Grace's star turn as Phoebe. You may remember her as young Tanya Harding, young Captain Marvel, young Daphne from Scooby-Doo, young Malignant, young Emma from Once, young Hill House, or opposite young Sheldon. But now she's all grown up to play, well, basically young Egon.
I'm a scientist.
And while her grandpa's awkward jokes got balanced by 2 comedy legends, Phoebe will get hung out to dry like a first-timer at an open mic.
Why should you never trust atoms? Because they make up everything.
That's funny.
No, it's not.
What do you call a dead polar bear? Anything you want. It can't hear you now. Whoa, it's funny. I just thought you were being obtuse.
Was that a geometry joke?
Yes, that's why I winked.
See, if we keep pointing out the jokes are bad, then we're actually being clever.
Come on, not a single bar.
There better be a bar.
That's funny.
Fine, forget it. How about the word podcast? That's a funny word, right?
And podcast. Why do people call you podcast?
Oh, I call myself podcast because of my podcast.
Why aren't you laughing? Legend Dan Aykroyd returns because he learned nothing from his other legacy sequel. In fact, the whole classic Ghostbuster lineup has been bribed out of retirement. And just like Egon, they're sad old men who stopped being friends.
Oh, we could barely keep up our mortgage. Some actor bought up most of Tribeca and we lost the firehouse.
Fun! But because Rick Moranis is saving himself for one last Honey, I Blew Up the paycheck, Paul Rudd is the new Yutz who gets possessed.
You don't want to be here. I don't want to be here either.
Watch him test the theoretical limits of his own charm. Because now is just not the time for flirting, my dude.
The only thing lurking inside here is my slowly dying soul.
Is that what that smell is?
My life is a dumpster fire.
I love dumpster fires. I'm bleeding. Why am I bleeding?
You headbutted a park bench.
Oh, right. Yeah. Hi.
And in a touching tribute to how not even the dead can find rest, a Tupac hologram of Harold Ramis returns to lift the proton pack one last time. You know what? That was actually a really sweet moment. Oh, he's still here. Guys, he's not going away. Is he gonna say anything? No? Should we bust him or? So gather into the station wagon for a film that treats the originals like a holy text, even though it can't make up its own mind whether anyone's heard of them.
How do you, of all people, not know about this?
I'm ashamed. You know what this means, right? Your grandfather was a Ghostbuster.
But whatever, this isn't for people who want another goofy SNL movie with cool props. This is for people who want a big-budget music and callback festival, where the Easter eggs are the size of Denver omelets. So screw it, let's just give the loudest people on the internet what they really want. 2 straight hours of references.
We got it!
References! Pick up your phone and call the river. Go, Ghostbusters!
Wow, this place is great!
Circle I-pointed star.
We have the tools,
and I
we have talent.
Welcome to Baskin Robbins. Would you like to try our mango fruit blast?
Jamocha.
Starring The Leftovers. Just a teenage dirtbag baby. Gone. Can I get a printout of Mr. Gruberson smiling? Hot, literally save America. J.K. Splittins. Josh Gad do be providing the grunts and squeals of Muncher though. Kraft Minions. I shot the sheriff roll in a day. 2 tops. How, Ray? You ain't got all the answers, man. 2 minutes of Bill Murray. That's a treat. Now to the Congo Legacy sequel. Egon F.T. Casita. And a moment of silence for Ivan Reitman. Rest in peace. Ghostbusters. Please don't get angry this time.
Maybe I could check it out sometime.
A flash drive? You gotta cast a podcast, little dude. It's right there in your name. The following trailer is rated H for honest. From the developers that brought you sexy Nazi-killing vampires and that terrible Connect Star Wars game comes a game that beat the odds and resurrected a long-dead franchise without completely destroying your childhood in the process. Ghostbusters. Witness a nerd fantasy brought to life as you play through a video game sequel to a classic movie franchise, written and starred in by the actors from the film, where you return to the ghost-infested streets of 1991 New York and trap specters alongside the original Ghostbusters crew by holding down a button and spewing proton jizz on anything that moves. Oh, yeah. Makes me feel good. Slip on the jumpsuit of the rookie, a nameless cadet who's joining the Ghostbusters for some reason, and join it with a shockingly star-studded cast of characters from the films to bust your way through the most worthwhile Ghostbusters content since the early 1990s, which is still a middling third-person shooter with some minor puzzle elements. Get ready to be buried under a massive pile of Ghostbusters fan service as the game dishes out everything you'd want from a faithful ghostbusting experience, and you play through hours of original Ghostbusters writing and voice acting, along with the visual effects we could expect from a modern Ghostbusters movie, except stuck forever in the uncanny valley of terrible early 360 graphics.
Back off, loser. Never gonna happen.
That approach rarely works with me. I'll show you why later.
Ew. In a world where Ghostbusters games have been forgettable to outright monstrosities, get ready for a game that breaks the mold just by being adequate, as the setting, script, and charming celebrity voiceovers cover up the fact that you spend most of the game aimlessly wandering around searching for the next ghost to fight, in a less engaging version of Luigi's Mansion where all the cute characters are replaced with wisecracking old men.
Try not to destroy too many Manhattan landmarks. That's hard.
Take on the meat of the gameplay, the Ghost Battle sections, where you'll unleash a flurry of particle effects, slime, and explosions, and rip the environments to pieces, in a gameplay mode whose only real challenge is keeping your cursor on your enemies. Or go online for co-op busting action in a pretty cool online mode that was subsequently totally abandoned. Oh, and don't worry about crossing the streams, cause f*** it, video games. So strap on your proton pack and prepare for a giant shot of Ghostbusters nostalgia. With the franchise heading in new directions, who knows what kind of games we'll end up with next? At least we know they'll be better than this. Starring the Ghost of a Booger, Captain Crunch, the Michelin Man. Hey kids, remember libraries? No? A Pile of Junk needs Weightbusters, Quaylag, Paul Rubens, and literally the cast of Ghostbusters, Spirit Stuffers. As bad as some of this game was, at least they gave us what we wanted instead of making us wait 30 years for a Bridesmaids reboot.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Oh. Did you want to?
Sorry. I'll let you.
Next time. Okay.
Who you gonna call? Yo mama. When someone asks if you're a god, you say yes. Yes, it's true. This man has no d. Listen, do you smell something? Busting makes me feel good.